season. Thank you for starting your Saturday with us alongside the former Illini linebacker Jay Lehman. I'm Lisa Byington. Well, Jay, we know it has already been an emotional season here for Maryland, not only having to answer football questions, but questions regarding the death of Jordan McNair. And with the recent findings of the investigation that came out this week, interim head coach Matt Canada has had to address both with his team this week.
Yeah, I got to talk to his team on Thursday and said, listen, you can only control what you can control. Your job is to prepare for the game on Saturday. Findings will come out Friday, but you got to be ready to play against Minnesota.
This is a Maryland team that is 2-1 on this season, and part of the story with Maryland is the fact that they have their quarterbacks back. What you might need as a reminder is the fact that Kasim Hill doesn't have a whole lot of collegiate experience yet.
Only 4 career starts, Lisa. People expect him to play like an experienced QB. He certainly has the size, the pedigree to be a phenomenal quarterback, but he didn't get much help up front last week. Under duress the entire game, had 7 sacks against Maryland, and also threw some picks at some ill-advised times.
As for Minnesota, they are young, especially offensively, but defensively, they've had a lot of success and a lot of veterans on that defensive side.
Yeah, 9 points a game, the fewest in the Big Ten. Really starts in the front 7 for any defense, but especially Minnesota. Defensive end Carter Coughlin brings a lot of pressure off the edge. Blake Cashman, the fiery linebacker, and Thomas Barber, yes, another Barber from Minnesota, making plays in the middle. Minnesota loves to bring pressure by moving their defensive line to one side, and then they're going to wrap Carter Coughlin and Blake Cashman to the other side. It's going to put Cashman one-on-one with the offensive tackle. He'll go up and under with a rip move and finish off with a sack. That's how they bring pressure for the Gophers.
This is the 4th overall meeting between Minnesota and Maryland, but a first for the 2 head coaches. With that, we join Allie Sturm on the sideline. Allie?
Thank you very much, Lisa. Well, yes, today's game presents an extra layer of familiarity, and that is a friendship that goes back nearly 20 years. And that's a friendship between both head coaches of today's game that were part of a very good Northern Illinois football team in the early 2000s. You had PJ Fleck as the wide receiver, and Matt Canada is the offensive coordinator. And Fleck told me that Canada always had a way of making him feel like he was a better player than he actually was, always instilled confidence in him. But today it is back to business because this is the first time these 2 coaches are competing on opposite sidelines. Guys?
Thank you, Allie. It's actually the first time that they've seen each other in person. When we were visiting with Matt Canada, he was thinking about the last time that he saw PJ Fleck in person and couldn't go back into his memory banks many years. Well, PJ Fleck, again, looking for his first Big Ten road win in the Fleck era. And Matt Canada, again, game number 4 as the interim head coach at Maryland. Beautiful, at least, kickoff weather and temperatures, and a forecast, though it rained a little bit here this morning. We got 75-degree temps. We'll hang in the 70s about through this entire football game.
Nothing like a fall football Saturday in Big Ten country.
Minnesota won the toss. They will defer, so Maryland will get the ball first. It'll be Javon Leak back to return for the Terps. And a touchback. Our auto owners impact players. When Maryland has the ball, they lean on a 6th-year player and a senior production kind of player.
Yeah, Tavon Jacobs, a guy that can make plays all throughout the field. He's a 6th-year player. You take a look at Kasim Hill. Only 4 games starting. We talked about Tavon Jacobs. Obviously the graduate 6th-year player, probably their best deep threat. Ty Johnson, elite speed in the tailback position. Blake Cashman, good blitzing linebacker. Antoine Winfield Jr., one of the most dynamic defensive backs in the country.
Ty Johnson in the backfield for Maryland. You'll see a lot of motion pre-snap with this Maryland offense. And again, with Matt Canada making the call on the field for the 4th straight week and the first time in his career that he's made that call. You're looking at Kasim Hill, who gets his 4th straight start this year. Maybe really coming off the worst game of his year last week. Maryland just 195 yards of offense.
Yeah, you come up here. Why not? Oh, I can move it. I can move it. That's right.
And there's your jet sweep action. The hands off to Jay-Sean Jones across the 50. And a big gainer just like that for the Terps.
Lots of motions, lots of shifts to make the defense think, get them out of position. And what you're going to see all this week, all this game, is the jet sweep where they leave Cashman unblocked and say, Cashman, can you tackle Jay-Sean Jones in space? He could not there.
And Ty Johnson running right into a wall. Seizio Tomewa, one of your defensive ends for Minnesota.
The jet sweep, really made famous by Matt Canada. A lot of people have done it since then. The 2012 Big Ten championship game, Melvin Gordon had a coming out party on the jet sweep, and since then, seems like everybody runs a version of it, but Matt Canada's offenses do it the best out of anybody in the country.
Empty back set here for Maryland. Avery Edwards in motion. And there's a flag there in the backfield, and we'll see, as I mentioned, a lot of pre-snap motion here for the Terps.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
If you're looking for the Rutgers-Buffalo game, go to btn.com/gamefinder right now to see where you can find the game in your area. Well, a penalty called on Terrence Davis, getting the start at right guard. They're shifting the offensive line for Maryland a little bit. Derwin Gray getting the start. Sean Christie is your left guard. Brendan Moore is your center tonight. And Marcus Minor shifts over to right tackle. Runs into an absolute wall. O.J. Smith sniffing it out.
One of the big questions for this front, Steven, was who was going to replace the stove, Steven Richardson? How about O.J. Smith? Asked defensive corner Rob Smith about O.J. He said he is a load inside as a run stopper, and you saw him use his hands extremely well, get off the block, identify where the ball was, and make the play for a loss.
Now a big 3rd and 15 play on this opening drive for Maryland. To throw, looking for the sideline. Catch is complete by Tavon Jacobs, only standing at 5'11", but he reached up to grab that one.
Climb the ladder. You're talking about a big-time throw. Kasim Hill, from the opposite hash mark, throws across the field. Tavon Jacobs climbs the ladder, the 60th player, and it's going to bring up a 4th down, and I think they're going to go for it.
They are going to go for it. Offense stays on the field. Tayon Fleet Davis will be one of the wings out there here from Maryland. They shift, they move, they sell a lot on offense.
To watch the motion with the quarterback run off it.
It's Hill who keeps it, stretching for the first down. And Maryland gets it, so the gamble pays off a little bit.
When you have a QB that has some mobility, 4th and 3 and below, usually you're thinking quarterback run. Here they use the motion to Fleet Davis to get the linebackers to scrape outside, and then Kasim Hill able to dive forward for the first down. He's a load now, 235 pounds.
Moving right down the field, now a 1st and 10. Hill again back to throw. Off the 1 foot. Pass is complete again to Jacobs. 2 for 2 for the 6th-year player.
Great route design. It's man coverage. You'll see Tavon Jacobs' guy get picked off. So it was Terrell Smith, it looked like, guarding him. So the player down, Antoine Winfield Jr.
And that is a player they cannot afford to lose defensively.
Watch Tavon Jacobs run just little scissors routes or crossing route. You see how Terrell Smith got picked off there? Not an illegal pick, a pick by the route of the receiver. Tavon Jacobs for an easy pitch and catch with Kasim Hill.
Antoine Winfield Jr. being 10-2 on the field, and we will take a quick timeout.
A better SUV dares to ask why not. Like, why not versatile? Master of all seasons, all the prizes kind of versatile. Why not turn up the comfort? First class comfort. Why not make it rugged?
Real rugged.
But also smart. And of course, reliable. Friend picking you up at midnight, reliable. And why not end with a big statement? Honda, awarded Best SUV Brand for 2018.
This place isn't for me.
That last place was pretty nice.
I don't like this whole thing.
I think we can do better. Change is hard. Try to keep open mind. Come on, Dad.
This is for me, son?
Principal, we can help you plan for that.
What do you mean it's not working out, Craig? I mean, I just introduced you to my parents.
Craig and Sheila broke up.
What? Really? Craig and Sheila broke up? No. Craig and Sheila broke up. Craig and Sheila broke up.
Craig and Sheila. As long as office gossip travels fast, you can count on Geico saving folks money.
Craig and Sheila broke up. What?
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
All season, fate waits for these moments. Because the only thing that matters is October. The MLB postseason, this fall on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app.
Our experts bring you the latest news from around the conference, discuss college football's major storylines, and tell you what to watch for this week in the nation's most important matchups. Big Ten football and beyond, Monday on BTN.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% will go pro. That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
Football on BTN is brought to you by Discover Card, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. Maryland with a really nice drive on this first series. Taking it to a Minnesota defense, as we have said, have been one of the best defenses, not only in the conference, but in the country. Anthony McFarland in for the first time on this series and in this game. A handoff to McFarland. Look out. He's got a little jump to him. McFarland takes it for 6 and the first Maryland touchdown.
McFarland gets the TD, but Terrence Davis got the pancake. You talk about leading the way for your running back. Boy, they have number 75 back as he just owned the linebacker at the point of attack. Leads to the Terrapin touchdown.
McFarland's first career touchdown as a Maryland Terrapin, and they are excited about his future. Highly recruited 4-star athlete out of Maryland. The 26-yard score, and Maryland strikes first.
Anthony McFarland, explosive. Watch as he fires out to off the block from Terrence Davis. Has the speed to take it the distance. Touchdown, Maryland, 7-0 early in the first.
Michelin Premier. Safe when new, safe when worn.
I am the DQ $4 burger in Blizzard. I'm a mini Blizzard and a burger for just $4. Holy cheeseburgers, it comes with a Blizzard, is what people will say. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Peekaboo, where's my favorite 1-2? That's math for 12. Hey, who's this guy?
I'm Aaron's agent.
Oh, you're not his agent. Gabriel is his agent. Aaron.
He's my State Farm agent. We just combined his home and auto insurance.
Yeah, well, that's not possible because Aaron doesn't do combines without me.
I do when they save me money.
Well, I was not expecting to get an arch rival today, but here we are.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Dickies knows work is more than just what you do. It's who you are. It's where performance counts on strength and comfort matters. Dickies Flex is engineered to give you superior mobility, advanced protection, and twice the durability. All backed by Dickies' unconditional satisfaction guarantee. So you know the Flex series is made to work as hard as you do. Dickies Flex, engineered to move. Learn more at dickies.com.
Dedication. Attention to detail. And going above and beyond. That's what it takes to do things the right way. With Rocket Mortgage, you can count on us to get your mortgage right. Because when it comes to buying a home, the right way should be the only way. Rocket Mortgage, America's largest mortgage lender and proud supporter of college athletics.
8 plays, 75 yards, and just over 4 minutes of time. McFarland taking it on his first touch, getting his first touchdown and the first score here tonight.
Got a chance to watch him on film yesterday, Lisa, and we said that guy is explosive. You could just see it on tape. Anthony McFarland, speed.
Short kick. And fielded at the 15 by Ben Davis, an offensive lineman.
Good fair catch skills right there. Go back to this play, this touchdown. What you're going to see is Gary Moore. He's going to go in. They're going to block out. McFarland's going to run through. But watch my man Terrence Davis get to the second level and go to IHOP and pancake my man Thomas Barber. Look at the block right here. Just drive his legs. Pancake City. McFarland's going to do the rest. And look at the blocking downfield. That's how you get big plays. When you block at the second level, not only the linebacker position, but your receivers are blocking defensive backs, it leads to touchdowns.
Minnesota starting at the 25, of course, with the new fair catch rule off of kickoffs in college football this year. Zach Anixted goes to work for the first time and going deep downfield, intended for Rashad Bateman. Rayvon Davis getting the start on the coverage. But there's a flag on the play.
Going to be a defensive pass interference. Never look back for the football and make contact.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Davis got his eyes in the backfield. Lost his receiver, then tried to make up on it. You can see definitely contact before the ball got there on Bateman. Good call by the officials.
Now we have Mohamed Ibrahim in the backfield for Minnesota. We haven't seen number 24 since week 1. He got injured in that New Mexico State game, and they hand off to Ibrahim. Trying to motor, look at those legs go, picking up a couple extra yards after contact. Ibrahim, a Maryland native, so this is a trip home for him in this game. Missed Fresno State and the Miami games because of that injury suffered in week 1. Coaching staff has said that he leaves absolutely nothing in the tank. Anixted with the play action, look out. Flags all over the place, right around the 35-yard line. Antoine Brooks Jr. the first to get to him, but we'll see on the laundry on the field.
Look at the power of Antoine Brooks. He got held on this play, tackled, still makes...
Holding. Offense, number 42. The penalty decline, third down.
Antoine Brooks, so powerful. Watch Antoine Brooks here. He's coming off the edge. Freeze it. He's one-on-one. Keith right there. Watch him drive the tight end back into the legs of Anixted. Does not give up. That's effort. That's what it takes to win in the Big Ten. Big sack for Antoine Brooks.
It was a loss of 8. 3rd and 13. Keith, by the way, the tight end for Minnesota. player who was whistled for holding. Penalty was declined, so 3rd and 13 here for Minnesota.
Play clock is at 25. Please start on my signal.
On 3rd and long, you've got to watch out for number 6, Tyler Johnson. He's second from the bottom of your screen. Tyler Johnson in the slot.
Showing some pressure. Trey Watson now dropping back. And extend with the pocket collapsing. Steps out of it was intended for Tyler Johnson. All kinds of pressure, though, being provided. Jesse Bonham.
Yeah, Oluwaseun Oluwatimi as well. He wanted Johnson. Matched up on Rayvon Davis getting the start. You see it, Jesse Bonham got some pressure and just overshoots Johnson. Had Johnson open by a step. Lucky this ball wasn't picked off as he overshot his receiver by a hair.
It's Tavon Jacobs calling for the fair catch. He'll be right at the 12-yard line for Maryland as this turf offense will come back to handle this Maryland offense. They are so proud of this flag here in College Park. You look at the total yards, 80 on that first drive for Maryland, and Minnesota had a rough go of it in that first series.
It's obvious who won the first half of the first quarter. Really, it's been a good balance of run and pass for the Terps. Great rhythm that first offensive series.
No Antoine Winfield out defensively here from Minnesota. He's taken back to the Minnesota locker room to get tended to. They're working on his left leg. And again, more flags.
Derwin Gray, 55, jumped the tackle.
False start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Watch 55, your left tackle on your screen. You'll see him just jump here a little bit on the hard count from Kasim Hill. Easy call.
Derwin Gray, the left tackle, he missed the Texas and the Temple game because of injuries. He's going to be a game-time decision between Gray and Damian Prince, who we don't expect to see as the right tackle spot here today. Here's Hill, who's in trouble, nearly avoiding the safety. And coming hard was Winston De La Badir with the big hit.
And Carter Coughlin as well. Forced Kasim Hill off balance and had to throw it away. Watch Kasim Hill. Carter Coughlin, Thomas Barber actually made the play first, and then De La Badir with a hit. Good clean hit as well.
Just kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it, Atlanta?
A struggle on De La Badir.
It's only the first quarter.
We'll get there.
2nd and 15. And off to McFarland. And again, he took his first touch for the score. It's Jacob Huff and Thomas Barber in the tackle. McFarland, 11 carries, over 100 yards, 107 total against Temple last week. Averaged about 9.7 yards per carry.
Whenever you see number 1 DJ Turner in the game, you've always got to be alert for him. Second from the top of your screen, DJ Turner. They love to look for him on 3rd down.
4-receiver set. Hill is back to throw. The short completion is made to Dante Demas. And across the 15, Antonio Chenault there on the tackle.
Saw this play in and play out last week against Temple, throwing the ball short of the sticks on 3rd down, hoping your receiver can run after the catch and get some yak, but has not occurred. They got stopped on 3rd down 6 or 7 times because they threw the ball short of the sticks. Of course, you got to be able to protect if you're going to do a deep route, something they've struggled with as well.
So a short-handed Minnesota defense getting the job done that time. No Anton Winfield. And as we know, no Keandre Thomas, who has dressed here today. Fair catch is made by Douglas, and Minnesota looking for a little bit more success this time around.
On a very special Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Hey, Sport. You know how we're a college football family. We like to drink Dr. Pepper and watch games.
Yeah.
Well, we found this under your mattress.
Soccer.
Everyone was really into it this summer.
It's a gateway sport, you know? First you're watching soccer, next thing you know, you're gonna watch lacrosse.
Look, it's perfectly natural to experiment with other sports at your age.
Easy, Mom.
I even drank other sodas.
What?
There's other sodas?
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Back here at College Park, the handoff to Ibrahim, who again taking that contract across the 40, really kind of building up his yards after contact so far.
Ibrahim let Antoine Richardson know he means business. Runs with such a low pad level. He got banged up along with Rodney Smith. They've been banged up in the backfield. Of course, Shannon Brooks had an injury in the spring. Hasn't returned yet.
Minnesota first down. PJ Fleck will be the first to tell you. He's not the biggest, he's not the strongest guy, but he's got a whole heck of a lot of will and a whole heck of a lot of heart. Antoine Richardson is slow to get up there for Maryland.
Seen some Antoines get banged up. We got a lot of Antoines on the field. Antoine Winfield, Antoine Richardson. They've got Antoine Brooks.
Well, this Antoine Richardson switched from cornerback to safety into this year. He started at safety, though, against Texas. And he is helped off the field.
It's good to see him walk off.
Jones now will replace Richardson, a redshirt freshman. And this is our first look at the Wildcat package here today with Seth Green as your Wildcat quarterback. Annexted, as you saw, lining up at the bottom of your screen. There's number 5. Green will keep it himself. Seth Green is a big body, 6'4", 240 pounds. If you haven't followed Minnesota football, you'll know that he was recruited to Minnesota as a quarterback. They decided when PJ Fleck and his coaching staff came to town, they decided to try to change him into a wide receiver and then into a tight end, and now he's kind of morphed into their Wildcat quarterback this year.
Done tremendous in short yardage situations. Uncharacteristic for him to come in at first down at midfield. Look for Tyler Johnson to get going. Look for them to target him soon.
Annexted with a little bit more time, batted away. The intended receiver was Bateman, and Tino Ellis was there with the pass breakup. Auto Owners Insurance when Minnesota is on offense. Tyler Johnson really having a career year, Jay.
Yeah, 3 TDs last week alone. Bryce Williams filled in for the injured Rodney Smith. Jesse Annabonum banged up in 2017, and Darnell Savage, a ball-hawking safety in the back end, very active.
Look at this on 3rd and 7, empty backfield for Annexted. Annabonum, got him. Jesse Annabonum, welcome back to Terp territory.
Man coverage then brought the linebackers on pressure. You'll see Jesse Annabonum just take Sam Schluter to school. You want to see a defensive end rush the passer? Watch number 6, Jesse Annabonum, right there in your screen. He's just going to beat Schluter off the edge. Just with post up with the right hand, beats him to the quarterback, sack.
Second sack of the game. That was a loss of 12. Tavon Jacobs slipped in to take it, in trouble. Ankle tackle made.
Come on, Martin. Such a good player on special teams. the Sam linebacker on defense. Kamal Martin says, I can play punt team as well. Watch him make a play on space against Tavon Jacobs.
On a very special Fansville by Dr.
Division showdown from Kinnick Stadium. It's all still to come on BTN and Fox.
Well, the West, I believe, will be won. Maybe not right now, but that'll give them an inside track, that Iowa-Wisconsin game.
Go back the last few years, a handoff to McFarland. Looking to stiff arm. Take a puff, Kamal Martin there on the tackle.
What I love about Matt Canada is he messes with the linebackers' reads. There, all the linemen went to the defense's left. They handed it off to McFarland on the right. Even a pulling linebacker left, a pulling lineman to the left. That made the linebackers read the play would go left. McFarland gets off the back door for a big gain.
That's another first down. After taking it 75 yards in the first series for a score. 3 and out in the second series here for Maryland. Ty Johnson now taking the handoff, breaks off a tackle. Look out! Johnson taking it all the way for the Maryland touchdown.
Matt Canada, a master of matchups. Great blocking up front by Brendan Moore and Sean Christie, but that play was really about Ty Johnson making a guy miss in space. Watch him make a man miss right here. And then he's gone. You're not catching Ty Johnson elite speed at the running back position.
Extra point is good for Joseph Petrino. And this Maryland offense is back after taking a hiatus last week. Now let's take a look at this message from ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire and the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference.
Some job boards give you tons of the wrong resumes. That's not smart. Then there's smart. ZipRecruiter finds people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job, and actively invites them to apply, so you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. ZipRecruiter, the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Big Ten.
All it took was a couple of plays on that drive, and now Maryland has scored 2 out of the 3 times it's had the football here to start in this first quarter.
Matt Canada, all about matchups. He said, I'll take Ty Johnson on the safety one-on-one any day, and Johnson won.
Demetrius Douglas fielding the kickoff across the 25. Let's check in with a T-Mobile studio update with Mike Hall.
Hey, Lisa and Jay, we got Michigan and Nebraska. Karan Higdon, the running back, did not play last week for Michigan due to injury. He's back in a big way now. 44 yards on this play, 89 rushing yards in the first quarter for just him. Wolverines looking great, up 14-0.
All right, thanks, Mike. Good start here for Michigan. It's really one of the games to watch on this another busy Saturday. And off again to Ibrahim. Oh, Ibrahim, as I had mentioned, is a Maryland native. Traveling back, he will have to sit out for a play, though, with his helmet popping off. One of the redshirt freshmen in this backfield. You will see freshmen sprinkled throughout this Minnesota roster. They have 59 of them. It'll be one of the first things out of PJ Fleck's mouth when he talks about the team this year. Certainly one of the big headlines and storylines for Minnesota. Instead, the handoff, the first carry for Bryce Williams. Darnell Savage in on the tackle. This is our first time seeing Bryce Williams here today, and he's picked up a Minnesota first down.
Bryce Williams going to be a good football player. You look at these safeties, Darnell Savage, also the nickelback, Antoine Brooks. You'll be hard-pressed to find harder hitting defensive backs in the Big Ten than these two guys. Come down in the box often. We saw Antoine Brooks blitz for a sack. Savage with a good physical tackle on Williams.
Some confusion there at the line. And a timeout called by Minnesota.
Prior to the expiration of the clock. Timeout, Minnesota. It's their first charge. 30 seconds and late.
Somehow P.J. Fleck and this team has survived a true freshman walk-on quarterback and freshmen across the board. But when you lose a senior at the running back position like they did with Rodney Smith, they got to rely on a couple of freshmen there in the backfield.
Well, and Rodney Smith, he's a guy that did kickoff returns too. He could catch the ball in the backfield. You see Terrell Smith as well, lower leg. He's out indefinitely. They had some depth there, but not that much depth, especially with Shannon Brooks, who's been a great player the last 3-4 years in the Big Ten, banged up in the spring. Young guys got to step up, fill the void.
Rodney Smith, he's scheduled, you see him there on the sideline. He's scheduled to have surgery on that knee next week. They will apply for a 6th year for Smith. That's something that P.J. Fleck had asked him. Are you interested in coming back? He said absolutely 100%. Here's Annexstad connecting with Bateman. That's going to be a loss. Bryce Brand there on the tackle.
Bryce Brand. Not your typical cornerback body. Excuse me, defensive lineman body. Making plays. He was out on the corner, you know. He confused me there because he had such speed. But they got on the edge, Lisa. Making plays. And he's kind of got a cornerback number.
You just keep digging, don't you? Keep digging. It's a loss of 2 on that play. Ibrahim again had to take the play off because his helmet popped off back in the series. Annexstad again back to throw. The pass was tipped. Antoine Brooks was there with the quick hands.
Listen, you've got to find number 25 in pass protection. You can't just leave him alone, even in the quick game. Watch him get his hands up ASAP. Right here, you'll see him on the edge. That's Brooksy. He's going to come off, and nobody's going to touch him. But no, he has the awareness. This is quick game. He's able to get up. Gets his hands up, gets a deflection on the ball. Such an athlete and such a playmaker.
3rd and 12. Again getting pressure, drops it off this time. And just short of the first down marker, a hard hit by Darnell Savage coming over. And Bateman taking it.
I hope Savage is... Somebody looks to be down on the sideline. I don't know if it's Darnell Savage who laid the hit.
It is. It looks like Darnell Savage who's still down. Took himself out with his hit. We have talked about just the pursuit and the explosion that he has and some of the plays that he makes defensively.
Well, even P.J. Fleck mentioned this guy is a ball hawk. So they're looking at Savage now, evaluating him. Looks to be a... Heard that from up here. You can hear the pads popping.
Led with his right shoulder.
The question I have is, do they look at this and see his helmet also hit Bateman's helmet? Could that be a possible targeting? That'd be a big blow. No call on the field. Savage is going to be evaluated.
How about this on 4th and 2, another Wildcat package. Seth Green back in. And Green with a big body. That is a perfect play call, but all kinds of flags coming in. I count 2 of them on the field. Byron Cowart and Isaiah Davis making the play for Maryland.
P.J. Fleck came here to win. Kind of looked like a face mask, possibly.
Number 9. Personal foul. Defense number 9. Face mask. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
And that is Coward, the transfer out of Auburn.
That was a huge play. If the punt there, you could go down 21-0 the way your defense has been playing. Instead, you go for it on 4th down. You not only convert, you also get 15 added on, and you're within striking distance.
And instead, the handoff to Williams. Tries to cut it back. And Isaiah Davis shutting it down. Isaiah Davis, one of the star linebackers. Had a career high, a couple of sacks in that Bowling Green game for Maryland.
Gotta wonder, when is P.J. Fleck going to take a shot? Have yet to get Tyler Johnson going. Not on the field right now.
The deepest pass attempt we saw was really on the first play for Annexstad.
Neither him or Bateman on the field. So you have to think this is probably a run personnel.
Annexstad with the play fake. Finds his tight end, Keith. And it's another go for first down.
Totally uncovered. Nobody picked up the tight end. Trey Watson, the linebacker that was the closest to Keith. But Keith uncovered, just a little wide go. That's a tight end go. And Annexstad able to find him.
That's the end of the quarter. But a gain of 19 for Minnesota. Let's go, P.J. Fleck to quarter number 2. Coach's offices. The Terps' name is what, Jay? I'm putting you on the spot.
The Terrapins. Oh, Testudo. I thought you said the Terps.
I thought you did your research.
Name. Yes, Testudo.
You were bragging in the pregame that you did all of your Maryland research and your Minnesota research.
Testudo. I thought you said, what does Terp stand for? Testudo.
It's going to be a long day.
Love it.
Play action. Annexstad looking for the end zone, and contact made on Tyler Johnson. Brings up 2nd and 10. Quarterback pressure coming from Antoine Brooks Jr.
Thought it was going to be Maryland who's going to have trouble protecting the quarterback thus far. Annexstad has not been allowed to get comfortable. We saw Jesse Anabonum with the sack. We've seen Antoine Brooks be very active in the backfield.
And shove his way back to the line of scrimmage. Brooks and Coward again there on the tackle. We have seen a heavy dose of Mo Ibrahim this afternoon.
Him and Bryce Williams, as we said, sharing the load, but not much running room at all in that front 7. Brooks in on that play again. P.J. Fleck loves to control the time of possession. To do that, you have to be able to pick up first downs on the ground as Maryland substitutes.
10 plays in this drive so far. Annexstad looking towards Bateman. Some contact was made. A little bit of jersey. Tino Ellis there on the coverage.
Yeah, he had a handful of jerseys.
I was going to say, it looks like he did.
It looked from this angle, there was a lot of jersey. I don't know if they deemed it as an uncatchable pass because it was far out of the sideline, but it looked like Bateman had hands all over it.
First field goal attempt, a 33-yarder for Emmett Carpenter. The most accurate kicker in Minnesota program history. Kick is up, and kick is good. Carpenter has made a couple of 50-plus yarders. That one, just chump change, has a 33-yarder. Minnesota on the board.
When it's too cold for camping, we go camping. When it's too hot to work, we work. Too wet to keep going? Nah. This is the Gator XUV 835 with game-changing heat and air and 3 wide seating. It's never too anything for anything. Nothing runs like a deer. Get $400 off the Gator XUV 835M at any participating John Deere dealer.
As people who love the outdoors, we stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you. Come in today for Sporting Dog Days with free seminars, prize drawings, and giveaways.
Introducing Sonic's new Car Hop Classic with double the beef, double the cheese, and now double the choices. Try a quarter-pound double cheeseburger or slinger with tots for just $2.99. Get them while they last.
This is the Angel Oak. Some say the oldest living thing east of the Mississippi. It's weathered countless storms. Battered, but never broken. It stands for the resilience within us all.
Just give it your all, go to infinity. Together, my world is so much better. My world feels so much bigger. I love it when we go together. My world is so much better.
Comes into today a 2-1 overall record. Let's recap how they got to it. Really dominating fashion and a really big win against a 23rd ranked Texas Longhorn team in game number 1, and then dominating on the ground against Bowling Green.
And then last week against Temple, uncharacteristic. Really didn't have that many plays. 20 first half plays in total, 6 third quarter plays, and you saw Kasim Hill with the pick 6. Looking for a rebound. And Coach Candace said Kasim Hill knew he didn't play that well, was pretty down on Sunday and Monday, but has recovered and playing well thus far today.
Johnson will let it roll. Hard tackle, you could even hear that one. The pop from Calvin Swinson.
Some pad popping going on. Early in this game, we saw Savage with a big hit.
Darnell Savage being taken back to the locker room on the Maryland side. There's a look at Antoine Winfield Jr. on the sideline. Nowhere near his helmet. And to exit in the first quarter.
McFarland goes in motion.
There's him. Picking up a couple yards. Let's check in with another T-Mobile Studio update. Mike.
Lisa, check this out. Purdue taking on ranked Boston College, and Rondale Moore gets the catch and then does Rondale Moore stuff. Gets away from the tacklers and goes 70 yards for the touchdown. Purdue missed the extra point, but they're up on BC 13-7.
All right, thank you, Mike. To McFarland. Instead, they'll go to the right side. Pass complete to Jay-Sean Jones. Blake Cashman all over it. Blake Cashman, what a great story. Former walk-on for Minnesota.
Eden Prairie kid out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. He's been a tremendous playmaker as far as making tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Rob Smith said he's probably their best blitzing linebackers. Take a look at P.J. Fleck, Rob Smith, the defensive coordinator. It's a defense only giving up 9 points a game. They've given up 14. They gave that up in the first quarter.
Here's Hill. Carter Coughlin was pursuing. And man, was he pursuing.
This is what happens on 3rd and long with Maryland. They just can't give Kasim Hill enough time to protect. Almost got hit here. Almost got sacked by Carter Coughlin. Working on Minor, who's in for the injured Damian Prince, and just speed rushes right around. Rushes the throw maybe a bit, although Kasim Hill airmailed that throw. Looking for Jay-Sean Jones.
From Wade Lees. Demetrius Douglas with the fair catch call. A 55-yard punt, no return.
Fighting wrinkles in average shirts. Fighting wrinkles in Duluth Wrinkle Fighter shirts. Duluth Trading Wrinkle Fighter shirts. Skip the fuss, nix the wrinkles. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
I thought I'd lost my business in that fire, but my agent was there before the flames were out. He said, together, we're going to rebuild. We've got 25 employees who depended on it, and that's all that mattered to me. My independent agent and auto owners made sure we didn't skip a beat. I mean, we didn't miss a single payroll. Incredible.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there. Auto Owners Insurance.
The home of the Gophers. BTN.
Saquon Barkley leads the Giants against Deshaun Watson and the Texans. Then in America's Game of the Week, Zeke and the Cowboys take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. It all begins tomorrow on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Swish me like it's the payoff. I'm looking for the payoff. You hating me the day off. I never take a day off. We sitting in the bullpen. It's about to be a strikeout. We celebrate the winnings, so I spend every night out.
Minnesota so far perfect on this young season, starting back on August 30th. Freshman debuts for Bryce Williams, Zach Annexstad beating New Mexico State. And then it was Fresno State, a really good Fresno State team.
Yeah, 10-win team, brought back a lot of starters. And it was Tyler Johnson's show, 3 touchdowns against Miami of Ohio. Led to a 3-0 start, one of 5 undefeated Big Ten teams. Obviously, Penn State played last night against the improved Illinois team.
A little Friday night Big Ten football. Used to kind of see Thursday night and Friday night really in week 1. That was a Big Ten opener. Zach Annexstad going downfield, intended for Demetrius Douglas. A flag on the play. Jordan Mosley there on the coverage.
You see Kirk Shiraka, the offensive coordinator, attacking the replacement.
Pass interference. Defense, number 10. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
It was actually on 18, Mosley, who's replacing Darnell Savage. So you can see Kirk Shiraka taking a shot.
It kind of looks like number 10, though. To Larry Smith's
It is defense.
It's officiating crew. Annexstad trying to make the grab. There's Chris on the bell. Another flag is out. The pass is complete to the freshman. A gain of 14 if this stands.
It's a tremendous catch. Coverage draped all over it.
Holding. Defense, number 7. The penalty declined. Result of the play.
Chris Ottman-Bell, a redshirt freshman. Our BTN standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance. One more look.
And look at him just reach out. One hand. Hauls it in with the left hand. I don't know if he's a lefty or a righty, but if he's a righty, that's a really hard catch for Ottman-Bell.
That's research, Jalen.
Research. Testudo.
Pass is deflected, nearly picked off by Tino Ellis. Trey Watson with the tip. The transfer from Illinois. Grad transfer out of Tampa, Florida, got a piece of it.
Watch here. The defensive line actually able to get a hand on it. Keno Ellis went for the pick. That defensive line's really done a tremendous job of getting their hands up. Antoine Brooks, got to watch out for pressure from him. He's the outside linebacker near the top of your screen.
Hand off to Iberman. Isaiah Davis with the tackle.
He's got to think this is 4th down territory for Minnesota. Wouldn't be surprised to see a play to set up a 4th and short to bring in Seth Green.
Well, remember, the drive was kept alive to result in that 33-yard field goal. The drive was kept alive for Minnesota, converting on a 4th and 2 near midfield on that series. Here we have 3rd and 7.
Andy Boo has brought pressure on 3rd down to make the ball come out quick. Let's see what he does here.
Instead, trying to find Tyler Johnson. Rayvon Davis get on the coverage.
Well, Andy Boo dials up the same recipe. Bringing Trey Watson with the pressure. They know that Annexton likes to go quick game and get the ball out fast, trying to get to Johnson, unable to convert on the 3rd down.
No catches here so far for Tyler Johnson. Well, today, Minnesota wears the helmet stickers and wristbands NC in memory of Nick Connolly after several months of battling a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The former offensive tackle passed away on Wednesday. PJ Fleck said Connolly took pride in being a Gopher. The former offensive lineman was just 22 years old. Maryland offense going back to work. Did you write that sign?
Bam! What kind of sound effects I like to make when I play? When I did play. I've been retired for a while.
It's a sign tailor-made for Jay Lehman. Tyrell Pigram in for the first time at quarterback here today for Maryland. He'll hand off. The jet sweep look for Tavon Jacobs. Well, Minnesota defense has been without Antoine Winfield since the first quarter. Allie Stern, what more do you have on that?
Yes, he was there on the sidelines. It was a lower leg injury. They taped him up. He tried to do sprints, then went into the locker room, is now out of the locker room. But I have a confirmation he will not be returning to this game. And guys, I will try and get an update on Savage as well.
That certainly affects this Minnesota defense. He has been having really a kind of a career year, especially in week 1 and week 2. Special teams player of the week. Week 2, a co-defensive player of the week. Trying to cut it is Jay-Sean Jones.
Pursued by Thomas Barber from his middle linebacker position, able to scrape all the way to the outside and make a tackle in space. Not easy to do for the big fella.
Tayon Fleet Davis with the carry. And they're going to keep you hopping, trying to keep track of all the movement in the pre-snap. They're looking at Marcus Minor right now. Got the start at the right tackle position in the place of Damian Prince, by the way, who we don't expect to see because he's out with an injury.
That's a position they can ill afford to lose another player at. Last week against Temple, not having the starting tackles, although Matt Canada wouldn't admit it, affected this offense in a huge way. 7 sacks, there were 9 tackles for loss by the Owl defense. Really, they kept the offense off the field almost the entire game. And the tackles have to play better. Marcus Minor was going to fill in at right tackle.
Well, a total of 195 yards in that Temple game. Now, that is the 3rd fewest for a Canada-coached offense. And when you're talking about a Canada-coached offense, you're going through a lot of different schools and a lot of different years. He's in stop number 7 in year 9. Ellis McKinney will now take the place there at right tackle. Tyrell Pigram playing in his 4th game. Kind of getting spot duty here this year. Of course, was one of the quarterbacks that got injured the last season.
Got to watch out for quarterback draw when he's in the game. He's mobile.
Calling number 3's number to try to make something happen. Otomewa with the tackle. Pigram again. If he started last year against Texas and then had a season-ending injury. And you know, they've had a rotation of quarterbacks, not only going back to last year, but in the last few years here in Maryland football history.
A lot of quarterbacks, usually because of injury, have had to fill in over the last 4 or 5 years. We talked to Tavon Jacobs, 6th-year senior. He said, I've caught a ball from 8 different guys, counting Jay Sean Jones in week 1 for a touchdown.
Fair catch is made by Demetrius Douglas. Reminds you that next Saturday, BTN Tailgate heads to Lincoln. Dave, Jerry, Howard, Spice, and Michelle have set the scene for the Huskers and Boilermakers. Get you ready for a busy day around the conference. BTN Tailgate presented by T-Mobile next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. The first BTN Tailgate going on today. Good to see the guys back. Maryland had to give it up. 0 for 4 now in third down conversions. By the way, neither one of these teams has had a third down conversion yet today. And they hand off to Ibrahim.
Ibrahim is a strong runner. Low center of gravity, keeps his legs moving. I tell you what, Ibrahim, as well as Bryce Williams, bright future here for the Gophers in the backfield.
Gain of 6. Ibraham's 7th carry of the day. He came in with just 9 carries on the year. The 9 carries coming in game number 1 against New Mexico State. The tackle made by Brett Kolka.
Andy Booth says he's the lunch pail guy. Andy Booth, the defensive coordinator, Brett Kolka, guy that rotates in a defensive end and also defensive tackle.
You always ask for that one word with the D coordinator. Give me the one word.
Give me the one word that comes to your mind. Sometimes they say elite, sometimes they say physical. Lunch pail was the word for Brett Kolka.
Annexstead back to throw on 3rd and 4. Going deep to Chris Ottman-Bell, and the catch is complete. Well, Chris Ottman-Bell has made a couple of spectacular catches, that for a gain of 31.
He might have a career as a traffic cop. The way he can catch balls in traffic. Watch Ottman-Bell, the focus, the hands, bobbles it. Ooh, yeah, I'm going to take a second look at that to see if he actually came down with that, because it looked like the ball was jostling as it came down to the ground. And our replay official, Dave Whitfield, says, wait it, I want to take a look at that. You know, he hasn't got many reps this year.
The previous play is under further review.
Tino Ellis, Antoine Richardson on the coverage on this play. And you mentioned Dave Whitfield, a Kalamazoo native, by the way. Whitvote.
There's no timeout. We got the buzz before the timeout.
Yeah, Dave Whitvote, who, as you mentioned, didn't get a whole lot of replays. Now, this officiating crew has worked the Nebraska, what was supposed to be the Nebraska-Akron Week 1 game. He only got to review one kickoff play on that game.
You can see right here he's bobbling it. I think the ball comes out and hits the ground right there. I think they have a great shot of it. What a shot by our crew. See right here as the ball comes down. It's on his hip. It's pinned on his hip. And then, does it hit the ground? Yes.
We'll bring in our rules analyst, Dick Honig, here for the first time. Dick, what do your eyes see?
Well, I think I see what Jay sees. The ball does come loose. He has to maintain possession as he's going to the ground to make this a completed catch.
Again, the call on the field is that it is a completed catch.
I'll tell you what, they're letting him play from a defensive back position because he had guys all over it. See Richardson's in front, raking the hand over, and you see the ball just comes out and hits the ground right there. I think this is going to be called back. Tino Ellis does a great job in the long arm rake. That's exactly what you want to do with the right hand. Plays through the ball. Ottman-Bell unable to complete the catch.
After review, the pass was incomplete. It will be 4th down and 4 on the 44-yard line. Pass run. The clock will start at the snap.
So that wipes out a 31-yard gain from Minnesota. What a pass placement, too, though. Even though they waved it off. Pass placement by Annexstad.
Annexstad's had some accurate throws. He hasn't had much time to throw the ball, and he hasn't been able to find Tyler Johnson.
Jacob Rivers back to punt for Minnesota. Here's Tavon Jacobs right at the 10. Just inside the 10. Fair catch is made. Maryland has gotten production out of its backs here in the first quarter. The rushing attack is going again for the Terps.
Well, Anthony McFarland got to start with Terrence Davis and a pancake on Thomas Barber. Anthony McFarland, such elite speed. We're talking about elite speed. Ty Johnson makes the safety miss, and he is out the gate for a huge gain. You know, as a sophomore and as a junior, we saw Ty Johnson do this on a weekly basis. Has yet to really get loose this year until then, and put up 14 points in a very stout front seven defense of Minnesota.
Maryland will have to start this drive, though, on its own 8-yard line. You see the rushing yard total, season average, and today they are moving on up the charts already here in the first half.
And it's impressive because they've really shifted their offensive line. They haven't had Damian Prince today. You saw Terrence Davis back. Now, he's a very experienced offensive lineman, but he's finally back. Derwin Gray's been banged up, so they're not completely healthy, but a hallmark of all Matt Canada's teams is they're going to be able to run the football. They're going to use the jet sweep. They're going to use inside zone, and they're going to run the football to control the clock, set up the pass.
That is sort of what Matt Canada has been known for with his offenses. I mentioned that he has taken several stops. His offensive philosophy, basically, he told us, what, yesterday, to get the cleats out of the dirt for the defense.
Right, you asked him, why do I see so much movement before the snap? Motions, shifts. You'll see 2, 3, sometimes 4 motions or shifts. And he said, it's easy for us as an offense, but it makes that defense think. It makes them get lined up again. It makes them go through their keys a second or third time. And it's been a hallmark of what Canada's done ever since he was really at Northern Illinois. They've always shifted. And they, through all his stops, Wisconsin, NC State, LSU, Pitt, he's been to a lot of different places.
And think about the backs he had to work with at Wisconsin. You got Monte Ball, Melvin Gordon, James White. Certainly can spread the wealth around. AP, top 25 poll. And the Big Ten is well represented again this year.
And Ohio State, to me, looks like the team that's head and shoulders above everybody else in the conference. We're going to find out next week. Ohio State and Penn State play. Of course, Ohio State's got to take care of business on BTN at 3:30 Eastern versus Tulane. I like that Michigan State, Indiana. We got to see Indiana 2 weeks ago against Virginia. Very impressive in a monsoon game, but able to get a victory.
Urban Meyer, after being suspended for the first 3 games, will be back coaching in that game today against Tulane. And as Jay mentioned, you can catch that one right after this one. Kevin Kugler and Matt Millen are toiling away as we speak in the booth getting ready.
That's your crew.
It's our crew.
Our crew, gotcha.
Kasim Hill back in. And starting this drive on the 8-yard line. Tavon Jacobs. It may be a yard. Thomas Barber in on the tackle. By the way, Minnesota, Jacob Herber's 4 punts today, all inside the 20, which is the reason they have this field position.
You see, manned up, one-on-one, Winston De La Badere on Tavon Jacobs. The defensive end on the receiver. They love to get that matchup on the jet sweep. You can see Tavon Jacobs won that matchup.
Turner in motion. Here is Hill. Up against it, connects with Jacobs. He does. Tavon Jacobs only had a couple of catches last week against Temple. He's been kind of a go-to guy today.
Watch Jacobs get his head around here late, but still able to find the ball. Good feet there by Kasim Hill. Just turns his head around at the last second, able to complete the catch.
A gain of 20. They go back to Jacobs. He's now got 4 catches on the day. Antonio Chenault there on the tackle. Kind of an up-tempo look here for Maryland. And off to DJ Turner. He's got a Maryland first down. Our T-Mobile studio update for more on Boston College Purdue, Mike.
Yeah, Lisa, and more on Rondale Moore. He already has a long touchdown for 70 yards. This one, a shorter one, 9-yard grab. Boilermakers are up double digits right now on a ranked Boston College team.
All right, thank you. And Rutgers and Buffalo also going on. Michigan, Nebraska. It's a Big Ten football odds. What a cutback move. And a nice move by Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson just doesn't get the credit he deserves for his vision. And Noah Barnes, the backup tight end, throwing a block to spring him.
Johnson on the Maxwell watch list. Vaulted into the top 10 of Maryland all-time rushers. 6th on Maryland's all-purpose yards. Did that last week against Temple. Another unbalanced line look for Maryland. Another handoff to Johnson. That time couldn't cut the corner. Jacob Huff there on the tackle.
Jacob Huff. So good at tackling in space. Him and when Winfield Jr. is healthy, one of the best safety combos in the country.
I was going to say he's missing his defensive backfield mate. They have a healthy competition between the two, even trying to see who ties their shoes better than the other.
Ties their shoes better? I'm still a Velcro guy myself.
Hill is in trouble. Gets rid of it. Pass connects. DJ Turner to the house.
Well, when you're 6'2", 234 like Kasim Hill, it's a load to bring you down. Under duress, able to find Turner on the run. And Turner, the #1 jersey, takes it to the house. Watch the pressure here. Gets pressure from Kamal Martin. He's also got Coughlin or Cashman on his leg. Able to complete to Turner for a touchdown.
Extra point is good for Petrino. 21-3 as DJ Turner gets his first career touchdown.
So uncharacteristic to see big plays given up by this Minnesota defense. We've seen on all 3 touchdown plays. The McFarland run, the Ty Johnson run, and now the completion from Hill. Watch Hill. He looks off the stage to the left, and Turner's going to come around. So look at the pressure. Coughlin gets his hands on him late. And you'll see Turner just able to make the catch and get upfield. Chenault unable to catch him. You'll see him working right here on Chenault. Beats him on the crossing route. Then Huff's going to miss the tackle, goes for the ball. And then it's Chenault who can't quite catch Turner. Touchdown Terps.
54 yards on that play. It was a 3rd and 1 situation. And Hill is loving it.
A little high step action for Kasim Hill.
He looks pretty good.
Night and day difference offensively in the first half, Lisa, from what we saw last week against Temple. Never got any kind of rhythm. 26 plays through 3 quarters. They might have had that halfway through the second quarter here.
Demetrius Douglas back in his own end zone. Touchback. Weeknights, BTN's insiders bring you the latest news from around the conference, discuss college football's major storylines, and tell you what to watch for in the nation's most important matchups, Big Ten football and beyond. That's weeknights right here on BTN.
I'm a fan of the Friday night show with me and Pat Forty, Rick Pizzo. We break it all down in the Big Ten and beyond.
Are you just trying to tease all the shows that you're on?
I like to promo my shows.
I see that.
You know,
what's the name of the other show that you're on?
BT and Inside the Game. 6 Eastern on BT and Wednesdays.
Just trying to spread the love for you, Jay Lehman.
Love it.
Jay Lehman, Lisa Bryanson, Allie Sturm on the sideline for us. And the handoff from Ibrahim on the phone. Maybe all things positive here with this phone call.
You know, the only time you see a phone like that is on the sideline. When's the last time you saw a phone like that? I mean, why do they always have those phones still? I mean, it's like there's a cord on it. There's a piece for your ear and your mouth. You'd think they'd update that, but they haven't.
Hard tackle made. Hard tackle made. Brings up 3rd and 11.
This is where they've really manned up on the outside. Made them throw the tight windows. Playing the zone right now, only rushing 3. Going to play 8 in coverage, and Seth Green's going to take the quarterback position. This should be interesting.
3rd look at the Wildcat. Green has been successful before, and he's not going anywhere. Byron Coward says, come on back.
I'm confused by that play. Seth Green doesn't throw the ball much. He can throw the ball, former quarterback. He's thrown at least once this year. But it's 3rd and 12, and you're pretty much saying, I'm going to run the football. As you can see, Coward able to fight off the block, make the play. I don't know if they're trying to run the clock out, give less time for Maryland. Maryland still has 3 timeouts and 2 minutes, 50 seconds to drive. So I'm confused on that call. Why not put the ball in Zach Ennington's hand and try to get a conversion on 3rd down?
Here's Herbers again. He's already had a really good day. Deep punt to Jacobs. Nowhere to go on the near side. Minnesota now 0 for 7 on 3rd down opportunities. Had a 50-yard punt and a 3-yard return.
This is a big drive for Minnesota's D. You're down 18. You've given up 3 big plays. You've given up 9 points a game up until this point in your first 3 games. You've been out-schemed. You've been outplayed. Your best defenders out for the rest of the game. This is the time where you've got to get a stop and go into halftime licking your wounds a bit, but regroup and come out and battle against a Maryland team that looked completely different last week, but is playing exceptional today.
Our Minnesota defense hadn't given up a 100-yard rusher in 3 games this year. Here's Hill scrambling. He'll just throw it away. Ty Johnson right now with 86 rushing yards. Matt Canada took a lot of blame for himself in last week's performance against Temple. People wanted to make an excuse with the tackles being out, your left and your right tackle being out. He said, you know, without tackles, it doesn't change the way I call the game. It might change the execution somewhat. Versatility, though, you see of DJ Turner.
How about the protection, though? Kasim Hill, able to sit in the pocket, doesn't have antsy feet, throws the ball a bit high for Turner. Turner, not a man of big stature, still probably should have caught that football. And it's 3rd and long. This is where they tend to struggle, but they look for number 12, Tavon Jacobs, a lot in situations like this.
4 catches already today. Chased out of bounds. Carter Coughlin chasing him out.
So instead of, because it's over 2 minutes, clock continues to run, even when out of bounds. So Minnesota will get the ball back with 2 timeouts. Bleed this play clock down quite a bit.
7 o'clock.
They were close. Wade Lee's got it off. And Douglas again with the fair catch. Wade Lee's the oldest player in the Big Ten, second oldest in the FBS, 30 years of age, not fazed by that pressure.
Looks like he took some acting lessons in his 30 years as well. Had a little contact, but it looked like he had a little bit of a flop. You know, kickers, punters flopping is kind of like people flopping on charge in basketball. Can go either way. See me repping some basketball knowledge there, Lisa?
You're all over the place. Research, Jay Lehman. We'll stay tuned for the BTN Halftime Report with Dave, Jerry, and Howard right after this. Bryce Williams on the carry.
Yeah, I saw there was a flag, probably a face mask on the tackle.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 59. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
Second face mask that we've seen today.
Yeah, Kieran Howard filling in at the defensive tackle position. Face masks are just killer penalties, 15 yards. We used to have a flagrant, non-flagrant call on that. That's been gone for years now, and it's a 15 no matter what. Issue with the play clock, looking where to spot it.
6 penalties for Maryland, 70 penalty yards today. They'll march them to the 44. 4 receiver set.
Are physical, and Rayvon Davis has been probably the most physical. Him and Tino Ellis on the edge. Lots of hands.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. Spot on the foul, automatic, first down.
That's Davis's second today.
See the pressure from Anna Bonham. Puts it back in his lap, and you'll see right there Rayvon Davis. Hard to see where the actual contact was.
Here comes Tino Ellis.
The key to really beating these tunnel screens is attacking the line of scrimmage. Watch Tino just shoot his gun, get downfield, make the play.
Rashad Bateman, the receiver.
So it looked like Minnesota calls a timeout. 2nd and 13. They just have not been able to get much going through the air. If you're PJ Fleck, you got to get Zach Anixted more completions, especially in the second half. But right now, if you have any chance of scoring, you're not going to do it on the ground with the way that Maryland's playing defense.
Minnesota has connected with Bateman 3 times for just 5 yards, though. Chris Autman-Bell with the 1 catch. Zach Anixted just 5 of 13 passing in this first half.
The first 3 games, he hasn't looked like a freshman. He's looked like a freshman this half.
I wonder, too, the coaching staff says that he is at 100%, that he rolled up that left ankle last week against Miami on a sack.
Look out for Antoine Brooks, the linebacker. 25. The guy loves to bring pressure off the edge.
Play clock down to 2. Anixted gets it off. Looking downfield, deep downfield, reaching up to grab it. There's the athleticism by the freshman, Rashad Bateman.
That's where Tino Ellis got his eyes in the wrong spot. Wasn't able to identify where the ball was, and Bateman with a big gain.
Gain of 28. Clock is rolling. So is this Minnesota offense. Off the chest. Tyler Johnson is having a rough go of it.
Uncharacteristic. This is the same play Tyler Johnson scored on last week. Just a quick slant against Miami. He's open here, working on Rayvon Davis, who has drawn the Tyler Johnson card to cover him all day. Hits him in the numbers.
5 touchdowns on the year for Tyler Johnson. 3 of the 5 coming last week. Anixted going to the corner. Bateman, did he get a foot down? Touchdown! Rashad Bateman with his first career score as a Gopher.
Zach Anixted with a little back shoulder Aaron Rodgers fade here. You'll see he throws it behind Bateman, who's able to get his left foot down over Tino Ellis. Look at that. Great footwork by Bateman, the freshman.
Carpenter with the point after. A 17-yard pass play. That was freshman to freshman. 4 plays, 71 yards and 40 seconds.
Tino Ellis, last 2 plays against Bateman, not able to see the ball. Doesn't see the ball here. They're going to throw a back shoulder fade to Bateman. Sees his left foot down, almost gets his right foot down. Just great execution. See how he beats Ellis off the line. Now Ellis can't get his head around in time to find the ball. By the time he does, it's behind him on the back shoulder. Great execution from Anixted to Bateman. As you said, Lisa, freshman to freshman, and they have a talk on the sideline.
They are excited, especially about Rashad Bateman. A 4-star, a true freshman. He was getting all kinds of late offers from schools in the ACC and SEC. He stayed committed to his verbal commitment to come to Minneapolis.
You know, hats off to Zach Anixted, able to respond after a rough first half. Good job.
Out across the 25. PJ Fleck, a receiver himself from Northern Illinois. Really takes pride in trying to develop these wide receivers, and you see what he's done in some of the stops that he's been at. Those are pretty good names.
Ted Ginn Jr. just electrifying on that 2006 Ohio State team. Mohamed Sanu played at Rutgers and then later at Tampa in the NFL. Corey Davis broke all kinds of records as a receiver at Western Michigan. Of course, Tyler Johnson, 5 tutties through 3 games.
Because I had nothing else to do that was better on a Friday night, I went back and watched some of the old PJ Fleck catches from Northern Illinois. He had a couple of good ones.
Guy's got some serious hands.
He'll drop it back, pass connects to Jarvis Davenport. Thomas Barber there on the play.
You've got 3 timeouts. Kasim Hill, not really, in this offense, not really built to go the length of the field quickly. We'll see what they can do in a limited amount of time.
Hill again back to throw. Some time, look out from behind. Ball pops loose, but the play is ruled down. Again, Carter Coughlin, you got to have eyes in the back of your head with that one.
Great pursuit by Coughlin, but he had Jarvis Davenport open on the drag route, but he wanted to go bigger. He has Davenport open and wasn't aware of Coughlin. His knee might have been down. I think they did call him down on that play. And that's why that'll be the end of the first half.
21-10 is your halftime score. A couple of head coaches that know each other well. Maryland up by 11. Number 11, he's out for the rest of the game. Got injured in the first quarter. And, of course, Rodney Smith, the senior tailback, will be out for the year. It's been ACL. And Minnesota deferred in the first half, will receive here in the second half. Message from P.J. Fleck would be what, would you imagine?
Well, I think build on what you did the last drive of the first half. Take that momentum and carry it on into the second half.
Demetrius Douglas getting the kickoff. Let's check in with Ali Stern on the sideline. He talked to both head coaches.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Yes, I'll start with Matt Canada, who is very pleased with his quarterback, Kasim Hill. He said he found a rhythm early on into this game, and overall with the offense, loving the balanced attack. He did not have an update at this point on Darnell Savage. And then P.J. Fleck, Jay, you were right on. He was very pleased with that last drive by Rashard Bateman, but overall, he wanted to see the guys get the run game going.
Thank you, Ali. And as she told us at the beginning of this broadcast, P.J. Fleck and Matt Canada, a relationship that has gone from pupil to now opposing coach. P.J. Fleck was once a wide receiver under Matt Canada at Northern Illinois, and Canada was the offensive coordinator in DeKalb, Illinois. Abraham is your tailback. And he has been your primary tailback here for Minnesota in this first half, and he takes the first carry in the second half. You see, look at it, wasn't that convenient that they sat next to each other in the team photo back in 2003?
They look a little bit different there. Both of them have hair. They're 15 years older. And Joe Novak, they both raved about Joe Novak. That's the guy sitting directly to Canada's left. He's the head coach in Northern Illinois. Really built a program at Northern Illinois that's sustained success since he's been there.
Intercepted. Maryland taking it back. It's Trey Watson. Pick 6 for the Illini transfer.
Trey Watson. Matt Canada upset about something, fired up about something. I don't know if there was a celebration. He's out at the 20-yard line.
The touchdown. Unsportsmanlike. Intercepted team number 50. That's number 50's first foul for unsportsmanlike that leads towards disqualification. That foul will be assessed on the kickoff.
That's MB Tanya, the senior defensive tackle for Maryland.
And it looked like Matt Canada was also having some words with the officials, getting some explanation on what actually happened. Huge play to start the second half.
Maryland got a couple of defensive touchdowns last week, and how about this for the 36-yard return for the score? The first turnover of the game. Trey Watson makes good on it.
In April, Luke's dad made 25 calls to find a place that could bring his son's creation to life. There were 14 emails to determine the size of the lightning bolts, and 18 texts wishing Luke a very happy birthday. And when all was said and done, Luke got to be a real-life superhero. And so did his dad.
Dickies knows work is more than just what you do. It's who you are. It's where performance counts on strength. And comfort matters. Dickies Flex is engineered to give you superior mobility, advanced protection, and twice the durability. All backed by Dickies' unconditional satisfaction guarantee. So you know the Flex series is made to work as hard as you do. Dickies Flex, engineered to move. Learn more at dickies.com.
This place isn't for me.
That last place was pretty nice.
I don't like this whole thing.
I think we can do better. Change is hard. Try to keep open mind. Come on, Dad.
This is for me, son?
Principal, we can help you plan for that.
This is Matt, the little freak. Matt's a super fresh lettuce freak, slicing it daily to 3/32 of an inch, the tastiest width for lettuce. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's. Now try your favorite on our new 9-grain wheat sub. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
Michelin Premier. Safe when new, safe when worn.
At the University of Maryland, we believe that education has the extraordinary power to improve the life of every person on Earth. We are confronting the most pressing challenges of our time, vigorously pursuing the discovery of new knowledge, integrating art and science, and developing the next generation of global citizens. We are the University of Maryland, and that is our fearless idea.
Well, Minnesota throwing a pick six to start Zach Annexstad. Throws the pick on the pressure from Brooks. You can just see Trey Watson steps in front of intended receiver Cole Keefton. It's not much of a difficult return for Watson. Now watch the end of this right here. You see MB Tani, number 50, act like he's taking a picture. That was the unsportsmanlike conduct that was called. Matt Canada not happy about the situation.
Demetrius Douglas again, picking up some speed. Hit hard right around the 40. Well, to the reaction of the unsportsmanlike conduct, interim head coach Matt Canada had this to say.
It looks like he said, I disagree.
Canada in a game number 4 in the interim head coaching spot. Had to get to know this defense. He's been an offensive line. Hand off to Ibrahim. Matt Canada, now that he had to switch over and kind of monitor this team as a whole, had to get to know his defensive players. Guess who gave him a little bit of advice? Our own BTN's Jerry DiNardo, who Canada had worked with. And Coach DiNardo, the old coach, had told him, look, you don't have to know the defensive plays, but you do have to know your defensive players.
So he took 10 minutes with each guy, one-on-one, have him come into his office, so he got to know them.
Met there by Trey Watson, making a couple of good defensive plays.
Trey Watson, the Tampa Tear, former Illini linebacker, grad transfer, with a pick six early, and then lays the wood on Ibrahim.
He had a season-high 15 tackles last week, doing the most he can this week, too. Can hear it.
Sometimes you don't need to wrap up. Sometimes you just pop them so good, they drop to the ground.
3rd and 3. Those legs, pushing his way for a possible first down. And the Gophers get it.
How is Zach Annexstad going to respond? The ball is the program. PJ Fleck says it all the time. Huge on winning the turnover battle. First turnover right there for Minnesota. You got to look for them to take a shot. They really had some success late in the first half on the Tino Ellis, Rashad Bateman matchup at the bottom of your screen. Do they go back to that when they're in the alumni zone in between the 40s?
Annexstad, deep downfield going Bateman's way again, nearly intercepted by Tino Ellis.
You knew they were going to come back to it. Kirk Shiraka, great offensive coordinator. Something works in the first half. Get ready for the second. Well, watch Tino Ellis get his eyes back around. Again, they let him play, hands on him. He should have picked that ball off. That should have been Annexstad's second interception. Look how he gets his eyes around, though. Finds the ball, uses his body to press back into Bateman. That's good technique by Tino Ellis.
2nd and 10 now for the Gophers. Wrapped up by Coward. Let's check in with Allie.
Well, guys, I've been watching PJ Fleck and Zach Anderson. When he walks off to the sideline, he's always going to him and telling him he needs to take a deep breath and just try and relax. And then now when he's in the game, he's constantly giving him a thumbs up. That's been something that I've seen multiple times throughout this.
Thank you, Allie. Again, you know, the true freshman walk-on, believed to be only the second to start the season opener in FBS history. We got movement there on the line. Coward could have jumped.
Offside. Defense, number 9. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
You'll see Coward, the defensive end, just jumps, and you'll see the offensive line move first, but because it was in reaction to Coward, they'll call the defender. Wouldn't be surprised to see Seth Green's in the game, but not at the quarterback position. This is usually the time they like to put him in to run the ball, but Zach Anderson at the QB position.
Minnesota converting on its first 3rd down in this series, again trying to get a second, and Antoine Richardson in on the tackle, but another 1st down for the Gophers.
Minnesota can ill afford to get off schedule. Because of that penalty, they were able to run the football for a 1st down. You gotta be able to stay on schedule if you're Minnesota, and when you take a shot on 1st down like you did to Bateman, you're already behind.
9 penalties here for Maryland, over 100 penalty yards in this game.
Continue to bring Antoine Brooks off the edge and leave Tyler Johnson manned up. You have to expose that.
Anderson trying to float into Keith. Go Keith. Almost a little bit too wide open.
Not a great ball by Anderson. You got a guy like Keith who doesn't get the ball much. You got to put it on his numbers. He had a bone him out in space, jams in a bit, and Watson actually might have tipped that football. It looked like the ball changed direction slightly, and whenever the ball changes direction slightly, it's very difficult for a receiver to adjust on the fly. You look at it in slow motion, you think, why couldn't he make that catch? In real time, a little bit more difficult.
Anderson again the handoff to Ibrahim, who has doubled up his carries today versus what we had all season, really, in week 1.
Well, Ibrahim showing a little bit of shiftiness. Trey Watson got juked a bit. Maybe taking a page out of Rodney Smith's playbook. Rodney Smith, so dynamic in the open field. Huge loss. Lost the first play of the Fresno State game. As you said, Lisa, will apply for that 6th year of eligibility.
They lost Shannon Brooks early in the year. Handoff to Ibrahim. Right around that 1st down marker, Trey Watson, Kieron Howard there in on the play.
So decision time for PJ Fleck. You're down 18. Do you put in Seth Green? Go for it on 4th and 1? Do you leave Zach Anderson and give it to Ibrahim?
Minnesota's perfect on 4th down this year. Gets it done. Mosley and Richardson there for Maryland. And Bryce Williams now coming in and giving Ibrahim a breather. But a nice return homes here so far for Ibrahim as Antoine Richardson is down now for the 2nd time today.
Already lost Darnell Savage early in the game. His status as far as returning unknown, but we haven't seen him. Antoine Richardson, the other starting safety. Good to see him walk off under his own power. And whenever you see an injured play, it's kind of like a free timeout for the offense. They could be dialing up a shot to the end zone. You're at that 25. You still got space to throw a deep ball to Bateman or Johnson. And you've got 2 backup safeties in the game right now, as Richardson at least has to set out a play.
Jordan Mosley and Deion Jones, 2 safeties for Maryland. Bryce Williams takes the handoff, breaks off the tackle, stumbles forward. Antoine Brooks making the tackle.
So Zach Anixted, how is he going to respond? Obviously threw the early interception. Minnesota needs him to. It's going to need him to make some completions down the stretch here to get back in his ball.
Abraham taking a play off back in. Anixted back to throw, again going Bateman's way. Rayvon Davis there with a pass breakup.
Bryce Brand and Antoine Brooks had a quarterback sandwich. Put Anixted right into it. You see, Bateman was actually out of bounds, trying to come back inbounds, had to play a little bit of defense. Now watch the pressure. You see Bryce Brand coming off the edge. Look at that move on down now Green. A little Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off. Yes, sir. You know when you get Lisa B to laugh, he had some fire with it.
Again, twisted up that left ankle last week. Comes out just a tiny bit hobbling after that play.
How about Bryce Brand and our lunch pail man, Brett Kolka? They have a meeting at the quarterback. Kolka goes low. Brand's got a hand in the face. See Anixted under pressure. Kolka gets his legs. Good pressure from that Terp front four.
From 41. Emmett Carpenter, right down the middle, almost automatic for the Minnesota kicker.
Kumbaya? Nah, we prefer Sky Yuma.
Sky Yuma, and they row the boat, both on the helmet. This Minnesota team sports with pride. A couple of PJ Fleck mantras. And really, this is the first test here for Minnesota, trailing largest deficit so far this year. Their first road trip this year. Ty Johnson will take a knee. This is something that PJ Fleck had talked about with this team, even like in his pregame interview when he did with Ali Sturm, that look, there's some guys on this team with 59 freshmen. There's going to be some guys that are taking just their second flight ever in their lives. Their first flight coming to Minneapolis for their visit.
And they're going to have to grow up fast. You know, one issue that we thought was going to be difficult for Minnesota was up front in the trenches. And they've been beat in the trenches up front, defensive line and offensive line.
Well, this is the first possession of the half for Maryland. Hill back to throw, it's low. Tavon Jacobs makes the play. Minnesota has run 16 plays, by the way. 1 interception and then 1 field goal here to start the second half.
Well, that's one way to win the battle of time of possession. You throw a pick 6, you get right back on the field, and you get the first 7 minutes of the ball.
I don't think that's what PJ Fleck had in mind. Just a hunch. Jacobs on the move, but the handoff to McFarland. Jordan Howden, a walk-on.
McFarland, good young player. And he could have been a little more patient. Let big Terrence Davis get out in front of you like he did on your touchdown run and get the lead block for you.
Jordan Howden making the play. He's getting a little bit more playing time now with Antoine Winfield out for the rest of the game. If you're just joining us, Antoine Winfield injured himself in the first quarter and ruled out the rest of the game. 2. Quick strike to Ty Johnson. When you're a defense and you see all that pre-snap motion, what are you reacting to, or what are you not reacting to?
You have to really look at your keys. Linemen, for the most part, don't lie. Skilled players lie all the time with motions, taking counter steps. And you got as many athletes as Maryland does. With McFarland, Johnson, and Jacobs. It can be difficult with a lot of speed flashing in front of your eyes.
Here's another look for McFarland. Split the difference. Hello, freshman. His second score of the day.
Huge block. You'll see 75 clear the way right there. And the Red Sea opens up. And McFarland does the rest. Explosive.
64-yard touchdown run. He got a touchdown on his first touch of the day. And he's got a couple touchdowns here today, the first 2 of his career, and it looks to be bright in College Park.
Motion, watch the motion. Tayon Fleet Davis going to come here. You'll see Barber's eyes going to fall, and then they're going to cut right back here on the handoff. Block here, up the gap for McFarland. The eyes were not disciplined by Barber, leaves the gap wide open. Howden filling in for Winfield, can't make the tackle in space, and that's how big plays happen. Execution of the offensive game plan up front and not being disciplined with your eyes as a linebacker can get you out of your gap.
Demetrius Douglas fielding the kickoff. Big plays have been the story here for Maryland. This offense kind of confuses defenses this year.
Yeah, it's really about their jet sweep attack. Look at this right here. This is the jet sweep to Jay-Sean Jones. You're going to isolate Jones on the defensive end from Texas. He's going to win that battle every time, and then they're going to man up. Hat for hat, 3-on-3, and Jones has the speed and wherewithal to get home. But that's not the only way they use it. They actually use it where they fake the motion as well. Just like they did on that last play, they get the linebacker out of his gap, and then they run right to that gap that was vacated by the linebacker.
Zach Anastasian, pressure coming, Trey Watson, all over it. What a day.
He's been an All-American the first 9 minutes of the third quarter, I'll tell you that much. Pick 6, sack, big bone-jarring hit. The Tampa Tear, Trey Watson. Good to see him land on his feet here at Maryland after a promising career at Illinois. And he just came off the edge unblocked. I tell you what, the edge blocking has been bad for the Gophers. Antoine Brooks, Brett Kolka, Bryce Brand, Trey Watson, all getting pressure.
Second and 17. That was a loss of 7. Trying to make up for it. And Watson and Brooks there on the tackle. Do you think the Tampa Terror nickname is going to stick?
I don't know. I came up with that. I couldn't say the Tampa Terrapin, could I? Tampa Terrapin works. Antoine Brooks, he's a playmaker. I tell you what, you talk about a physical guy. A chance to talk to him yesterday. Me and you and Allie as we look at Testudo.
You got it.
Antoine Brooks, what a playmaker.
Third and 12.
Rushing 3, dropping 8, unless Brooks is going to blitz.
Brooks stays home and floats it across the field to Bateman. And a nice game for Rashad Bateman. Tino Ellis missed on the tackle. A gain of 17 and a first down for the Gophers.
I'd like to see more plays like that, just a drag route across the field. Get it in your playmaker's hands. Bateman has good speed. Let him get a little yak, little yards after the catch. You're down 22. You're down 3 touchdowns. You got to start throwing the football. I know you want to run the football, establish the line of scrimmage. Annexsted's got to make some plays through the air.
Complete. Another T-Mobile Studio update, Mike.
Lisa, an update on the Ann Arbor beatdown. This is Donovan Peoples-Jones receiving a punt, going to the outside and just flying past everybody. Makes a few great moves, spins right there. That's a touchdown for a 60-yard return. It's now 46-3. Michigan has the lead.
Michigan just absolutely handling Nebraska. Big question is what kind of moves can the Wolverines make this year in the East?
Nobody's talking about him. If Shea Patterson plays well, he can beat anybody.
Everyone takes the handoff. He's got some room there, diving for the first down. And he will be marked just short.
A chance to see Ibrahim's speed there on the edge.
Jake Paulson, one of the tight ends, had a pretty good block on this play. Tight ends are gone. Brandon Lingen and Nate Wozniak from Minnesota. They need some tight end production on this team. 3rd and 1. Ibrahim will get the first down from Minnesota. 22 carries today.
Ibrahim's found a little something on this Maryland defense, just cutting it back. Behind the backside defensive end. PJ checks in, makes sure Ibrahim's okay.
He was cleared to play last week. We didn't see him. And how about his first game back, getting quite the workload? Williams now.
Antoine Brooks, so active. And in this personnel grouping, you don't have Tyler Johnson on the field. You've got 2 tight ends. You've got Seth Green, who's also a tight end. You had 3 tight ends on the field. You got to be queued up that they're going to run the football. Now they're changing personnel a bit, bringing Ottman Bell in as a receiver. But they don't look to be any kind of in a hurry at all. If you're Minnesota, you're running out of time.
That's another one-play rest for Ibrahim. Annexsted again going deep, but Tino Ellis again making the play. Chris Ottman-Bell, there's a flag.
Tino's got a lot of jersey today, and he got too much there on Ottman-Bell. Either a pass interference or a holding defensively.
Pass interference, defense number 7. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Tino Ellis has had a few of those.
They really try to go after Tino. You see, not so much his right arm, but his left arm all over the back of Ottman-Bell. He's battled today, though.
Maryland with the lead, but still 10 penalties on the day. Annexsted across the middle. Tackle is made. Ottman-Bell with the reception. And it's another Minnesota first down.
Now, this is vintage Minnesota football right there. Play action. Fake to Ibrahim. Then throw right over the linebacker's head on the quick slant route to Ottman-Bell. Good execution.
Second catch of the day, a gain of 14.
Again, you've got that big 3 tight end personnel. You got to be thinking run.
Ibrahim trying to get to the 10-yard line. Davis and Mosley on the tackle.
finish and get a touchdown. If you're Minnesota, you know, you love to be a team that wins the time of possession. This is not the time to chew up clock. This is the time to score fast.
Abraham has 13 carries already this quarter. Annexton to Bateman. Tackles made, Rayvon Davis.
Talk about film study, talk about execution. Watch Davis sniff it out, beat the block by Demetrius Douglas, just does the old okey-doke on him and makes the play for no gain.
Under a minute now. Third down has been a problem for Minnesota today. To Abraham. Going to be well short.
And with a call like that, you think it might be 4-down territory because they're only going for the first down on that play. And I think he's going to wait for the quarter to expire so they can talk about this crucial 4th down play.
Let's time it. PJ Fleck headed towards the other field, the other side of the field, and we will as well. After this quick timeout. Happy fans in College Park. Maryland in command. Down play coming up for Minnesota. What's your call, Jay?
Go to your best football players. Tyler Johnson. He's way out on the edge, though. That's a tough throw for Zach Annexton at the top of your screen. Altman Bell has played well. I look for him to get some action. He's at the very bottom, just out of your screen.
We got another timeout called by PJ Fleck.
Timeout, Minnesota.
Must not have liked what he saw, so we will possibly see to make PJ Fleck do that.
Well, they're coming out in different formation with is basically flipped. You get Altman Bell to the top. Sometimes you're lined up wrong. Sometimes you get a look you don't want defensively. Remember, you don't have to get a touchdown here. You want to get a first down. That's more important than the touchdown. You get Tyler Johnson second from the bottom on the screen.
To get to about the 3-yard line. Annexton is thinking inside, gets hit from behind. Byron Cowart with a big play from Annexton's backside.
Cowart working on the left tackle. Top of your screen on Donnell Green. He uses his hands just like we saw Bryce Band to get to Annexton. You see Maryland fired up.
PJ Fleck with a missed opportunity on 4th down.
Zach Annexton down. No, you got to throw the football. He hasn't had time to throw the football, but had a window to throw that slant. Should have thrown it when he could. Expect a heavy dose of run from the Terps.
Tyrell Pigram is in at quarterback. The handoff to Tayon Fleet Davis. And so it's a learning lesson here for the freshman.
And Annexton has played well through the first 3 games, but they haven't played a Power 5 opponent. It's a little bit different. You've got Power 5 defensive linemen coming down your throat, pressuring you to throw the ball before you want to, and you hold on to it too long, and that's what can happen.
Zach Annexton has thrown the first interception of his career. He went about 3.5 games of his to start his career. Without doing that, handoff to DJ Turner. Gets swallowed up.
Well, you can see that phone looks older than the Maryland phone. It's got like the 80s cream color, you know? I go back to my mom's house, that's the color of the phone.
The rotary dial.
The rotary dial. Zach Annexton probably talking to Coach Shiraka. encouraging the young QB.
Third and 6. And a timeout for Maryland.
Timeout, Maryland. Their first charge will be a full media timeout.
Maryland has had some big defensive plays, our all-state mayhem moment. How about this on 4th down?
Byron Coward just defeating Darnell Green on the pass rush. Him and Annabone have been so powerful on the 4th down, the sack fumble. Didn't matter that he fumbled the ball. It was 4th down anyway, but up front, Annabone, Coward brought pressure all day.
Zach Annexted was off the phone, took a trip to talk to his receivers, and you saw right there still chatting with his head coach.
And the question is Zach Annexted healthy? He's gotten banged up a couple times in games. We don't know. We've been told that he's 100%, but 10 for 25. Very un-Zach Annexted-like numbers. Of course, the best defense he's probably played.
There's Pigram, who gets tripped up immediately. That play ended almost before it began.
Yeah, Tyrell Pigram, one of the better quarterbacks in the country at running quarterback draw. And that's the second time on 3rd down. They called quarterback draw, and he was stopped for the second time for a short game.
Antonio Schnault back to receive for his first time today.
Not having Winfield as your punt returner, so dangerous. Obviously, had a return for a touchdown week 1 against New Mexico State. Good return last week against Miami.
Lee skies it. Catch is made right at about the 30. And so all that talking, a 51-yard punt, and the true freshman walk-on quarterback. We'll see if the lessons have been learned on this series.
You know, we keep saying true freshman walk-on quarterback. This guy did play at IMG Academy in Florida. He beat out starting Rutgers quarterback Art Sitkowski halfway through the season. He had Power 5 offers from Pitt, from Illinois, but such a Minnesota born and bred guy decided to go play for the Gophers and quickly won the starting job over Tanner Morgan.
Plenty of time, connects with Chris Altman-Bell for the first down and a little bit more. Jordan Mosley in on the play, a gain of 29.
Well, when you've got an aggressive player like Antoine Brooks, throw a double move in there. They did a double move and out and up. Brooks bit on the out. The receiver went up. Annexted had the protection. One of his better passes of the night. Good day.
Play action. Oh, almost intercepted again. Rayvon Davis nearly picked it off.
Tremendous effort by Rayvon Davis. Reaching back with his left hand. Never know when the ball's actually going to get thrown to you, and it does here. Throws it behind his receiver, Altman-Bell. Bell doesn't have a chance. Altman-Bell doesn't have a chance at it. Davis gets his hand. That would have been an incredible catch.
You know who's without a catch today is Tyler Johnson.
I was just going to say, I think you got to take a shot with Tyler Johnson. He lines up to the field at the top of the screen.
They go to Johnson right on cue, who makes the catch. He's headed the long way around.
That was the longest -2 run you're ever going to see right there. You know, they talk about going north and south. That was east and west. Johnson, one catch, -2 yards. Not his best day. Not Annexted's best day as well. But Johnson, this will not be the last day we see him. He's going to be a player for a long time. Just a junior.
Brings up another 3rd and long for Minnesota. And a timeout for Maryland.
Timeout. Maryland.
We will take a
timeout. The second charge will be a full media.
And where did they go? They went to the Lincoln Memorial, the site of the MLK I have a dream speech. Significant with that is P.J. Fleck has made changing history kind of the motto for this team. He has highlighted folks like Abraham Lincoln and this week Martin Luther King Jr. It's different people who have changed history, and it's something that Minnesota is trying to do in terms of bringing back the old successful football history to this program. Annexstad stepping out of pressure on 3rd and 11. That's a big gain for Tyler Johnson, who his first catch, remember, coming into that timeout was for -2. Now he's in positive gain.
It's a critical 3rd down conversion if Minnesota has any chance of getting back in this ball game. And Johnson has the ability, makes Brooks miss in space, able to get some yak. But you got to give credit to this Maryland D. Physical at the point of attack and tackling with an attitude.
That was Johnson lining up in the backfield on that play, by the way. Minnesota still with plenty of time, under 11 minutes to play. Ottman Bell, and coming over, Isaiah Davis with the hard tackle from behind.
Haven't seen much RPO action, but you'll watch. RPO run pass option, Annexstad delivers on target. A shot from Isaiah Davis. These backers know how to hit. Double deuces and double threes, 22-33. Davis and Watson.
Ibrahim will keep it just about right at the 10-yard line. Got Brooks and Davis and Watson all in on the tackle. P.J. Fleck looking for his team to make a little bit of a push and a comeback. This road trip ending with a happy ending. Second and 7, Annexstad. Looking for Johnson, way too high. 6'2" stands Tyler Johnson. Couldn't quite get high enough. Rayvon Davis again on the coverage.
Give your receiver a chance. Now, it's a harder throw for Annexstad to throw to the field. He's on the left hash, through to the right sideline. Never really gave Johnson a chance to make a play on the ball. Brings up 3rd down.
To Ibrahim. Even including that off-target pass to Tyler Johnson. Annexstad is 6 of 9 after starting the half 0 for 5 with that interception. He's kind of settled down a little bit.
Settled down. And again, an interesting call on 3rd down in the red zone. They don't go for the conversion. They run the ball. Watson falls back, gets a big hit on Ibrahim, and now you've got another 4th down. Last time it was a pressure. You got to get the ball out quick if you're Annexstad. Look for Ottman Bell, top of your screen, number 3.
He's looking to his right and throws it up towards the corner. Intercepted. Rayvon Davis.
Had pressure. He knew he had to throw the ball. It's 4th down. But you don't want to throw it into double coverage. You have Ottman Bell manned up on the top. You don't go to Ottman Bell. You go to Johnson under pressure. It's a pick by Davis. 35-13, about 9 to play.
BTN and Fox. You can, of course, watch it on your Fox Sports app.
Love the night games we have. Wisconsin, Iowa at Kinnick. Kinnick's where ranked teams go to die. So you got to be careful when you go to Kinnick at night. Penn State almost got it last year. You saw Ohio State get it taken to 55 points.
Let me ask, is Kinnick the toughest stadium to play as a player?
I think it is. I know that Penn State gets the atmosphere, Wisconsin gets the atmosphere card, but when you're at Kinnick, the fans are literally on top of you. You know as many sideline games as you've done. You got fans on top of you.
I can barely squeeze in behind those benches. And when I do, I try to hide so I don't get yelled at for being behind the benches. Handoff again to Ty Johnson, but you mentioned the importance of that game in particular in the West Division. You go back and in history and really in the last few years. And the winner of that game goes on to win the West.
And Wisconsin's got the better of Iowa the last 2 or 3 years, but don't sleep on Nate Stanley and this defense from Iowa. They lost 3 of their top tacklers from last year, but Phil Parker. You know, you have to be named Parker to be a defensive coordinator under Kirk Ferentz. When Norm Parker and then Phil Parker, the results are the same. The name is the same.
It's Ty Johnson who is on the move, and a first down for Maryland. And the dominance of the Big Ten. Last year they were consistently in the top 25, consistently, really frankly, in the top 10. And this year it's no different. Ohio State right now leading the way.
Ohio State, that win over TCU looked a cut above everybody else. Penn State has struggled in some games, struggled in the first half against Illinois. You know, with that 7-1 bowl season last year, I think people thought the Big Ten would come out and just walk through the non-conference season. Has not been the case, but Penn State and Ohio State seem to be a cut above from the rest.
Again, another handoff to Tayon Fleet Davis. Thomas Barber with a hard tackle. How much of an impact does the return of Urban Meyer make?
Well, after what Ryan Day did the first 3 weeks, I'm not sure it makes much of a difference at all as far as play calling, as far as game planning. But let's be honest here. Urban Meyer's won over 80% of his football games. To have him back on the sideline, I think it's more of an emotional boost than anything. In the words of Dwayne Haskins, college football better look out.
That one coming up after this one is complete. Kevin Kugler, Matt Millen, and Rick Pizzo on the call of that one. A handoff to Ty Johnson. Turn in the corner, headed towards the first down. Chig Okonkwo with a really good block on that play and a gain of 13.
Call him Chig. You know, sometimes like being in space and show he's got a little jig to him. There he was blocking.
Chig with the jig.
Chig with the jig. And PJ knows he's going to get a heavy dose of this run attack. You know, Maryland's had a stable of running backs the last couple of years, but Ty Johnson, of course, we've seen McFarland. I haven't seen Lorenzo Harrison today. He's a good player as well.
And again, remember, this is a Minnesota rush defense and not allowed over 100 yards in 3 games coming into today. Miami had the most, 91. And today, 271 for Maryland.
They also haven't played offensive line that weighed all across the board over 300 pounds average. And this offensive line dominated the front 4 from Minnesota. Minnesota done well the first 3 games, but struggled at the point of attack today.
Tayon Fleet Davis again getting some playing time here down the stretch of the 4th quarter. First road trip for Zach Annexstad.
Tough day for Zach Annexstad. Not all his fault. He could have completed some more balls. Lots of pressure. PJ Fleck knew when he got here the offensive line was extremely thin. It's a process to rebuild the offensive line. Penn State, talking big picture Big Ten, just now starting to really rebuild their offensive line with a proper depth. Kind of surprising as much success as Saquon Barkley had the past 2 years, but now they're an offensive line driven team. That took years.
Eating up some more time. Nice gain there by Ty Johnson, Kamal Martin, Terrell Smith. And a 4th down coming up. A flag in the backfield.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 45, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down. This is number 45's first foul that leads towards disqualification.
That's Carter Coughlin, the junior. And he was battling up against Avery Edwards.
You have to have the dreaded conversation with your head coach. After the unsportsmanlike conduct leads to a first down. Had a chance to possibly force a punt, get off the field.
First Minnesota penalty of the day. Into Ty Johnson.
PJ Fleck, second year building this program. After the great success at Western Michigan. See Ty Johnson gets a break.
Over 100 yards for Ty Johnson. 123 on 11 carries and one score, the longest he took for 81. McFarland getting tripped up. Speaking of McFarland, making the right play, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Look at him go in the first half.
McFarland gashing the Gopher defense. Terrence Davis with the big block right there on Thomas Barber. Excellent blocking downfield by Jarvis Davenport. Really opened the gates up to a very effective rushing attack for the Terps. And what makes it more impressive is they've been banged up on the offensive line. Still able to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Here's another touch for Fleet Davis. He's got a first down. A lot can be said for the response here for this Maryland football team. It's been an emotional season, but another especially emotional week. 2 investigations being overseen by the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, and one of the findings, one of those investigations coming out this week on the steps taken during the practice and training session where Jordan McNair collapsed and then eventually died of heat stroke. And findings coming out yesterday, so a day before they had to play this football game.
And credit to this, as Fleet Davis gets the carry, credit to this football team being ready to play. I mean, from the first quarter on, they came out and really took it to Minnesota. That's a credit to their interim head coach, Matt Canada.
Well, he had to address the team, not only on football issues, but those issues surrounding the death of Jordan McNair this week. Address the team Thursday night. Now, again, there is still a second investigation ongoing. And there is no timeline for an end date on that one, and no personnel changes will be made until that investigation, that second investigation, is complete. This could go. Chico!
We asked did Chig have some jig. He had a little zig, a little zag there for the touchdown. Chico Zemo-Kakwa.
A 21-yard touchdown run. He's trying to stay in bounds.
For a big man, look at the balance here. Does he touch the white? That's the question. Looks like the play will stand.
Extra point is good for Petrino. Okonkwo with his first career touchdown. All kinds of career marks happening for the Terps tonight.
Returned. That game against Tulane is coming up next right here on BTN. We'll take you out there shortly. For now, let's go back out to Lisa and Jay.
All right, 42-13. Still got 1:12 left to play. An Ohio State-Tulane game coming up after this one. Another full slate of football. Yeah, 9 games last week. Jay Lehman on the network.
If you don't have Big Ten Network, you're in trouble. 9 games on the network on a Saturday? Come on.
Triple header in that noon window, triple header in the 3:30 window, and then a triple header in prime time. It's pretty much been all Terps here today. That one sailing out of bounds.
Kick out of bounds. The ball we placed at the 35-yard line.
Football on BTN. is brought to you in part by State Farm, here to help life go right. I didn't want to jinx it at the beginning and say it was a beautiful day and we weren't going to get any rain during this game, but now I can say it. I think it's safe with about a minute left to play.
Beats the last time we were together 2 weeks ago, where it rained for 48 straight hours in the Virginia-Indiana game.
It rained almost everywhere in the Midwest on that day, though, I think. Chamber of Commerce weather, though, here today. Handoff to Bryce Williams. And so what does this Minnesota team walk away from in their first road trip of the year?
Well, they found out that they've got to be better up front. Just were dominated at the point of attack. Couldn't stop the run. Couldn't protect Zach Ennickstead. And you can't turn the ball over. PJ Fleck said all the time, you can't start the second half after you just end the first half with a touchdown pass. With a pick six to Trey Watson, set the tone for the entire half. It's been all Terps.
There goes Bryce Williams, breaking off a tackle. He's got a Gopher first down across the 50. And we could see Shannon Brooks at some point this year with the new redshirt rule. Brooks is practicing every day, we're told. He's not yet cleared to play. Of course, with the new redshirt rule, you're given about 4 games. You can play any of those 4 games at any point in the season, so they got to be strategic with Shannon Brooks. They could have Shannon Brooks and Rodney Smith back next year if they want.
That would be a dynamic duo in the backfield.
And that'll do it. 42-13 is your final score of the 2 head coaches. Fleck used to play for Matt Canada back at Northern Illinois. The first time that they have squared off as head coaches, know each other well. Nice handshake there at the end. And our Duluth trading hardest working player, Anthony McFarland.
How about that average? 18.7 a clip. You might want to give him the ball a couple more times. You got Ty Johnson, Tayon Fleet Davis, but give it to the man.
2 100-plus yard rushers, by the way. McFarland with the 26-yard score and the 64-yard score. Coming up next is the BTN football game break. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network. We hope you enjoyed it. For Jay Lehman, Allie Sturm, I'm Lisa Byington, saying so long from College Park.